Welcome my friends to a new episode of Scrolls of Dharma Goes on Video. Tonight I'm gonna tell you about a movie which I saw recently. Actually it's not a movie, it's a rockumentary, and I think it's one of the best rockumentaries or documentaries I ever saw about music. The name of this film is Scream for Me Sarajevo, and as you may already know, this is the story about a legendary concert which took place in 1994 in the besieged capital of Bosnia, when Bruce Dickinson and his band Skunkworks played there. The setting, the context of that concert is a little bit unknown. For me personally, it was kind of a secret until now. So to make it short, in 1994, when the war waged at its peak in Sarajevo, which was besieged by the Serbian forces, Bruce Dickinson, by then the ex-singer of Iron Maiden, was contacted by UN officials and asked to perform a concert in the Bosnian capital, to bring a little bit more of hope and light in the darkness of the civilians which were under assault day and night. What can I say? The documentary is basically comprised in 3 parts. It features a lot of interviews with the characters, the Bosnian characters, which were teenagers at the time. They were around 14, 15 years old, and tried to live their lives under heavy bombings and shelling and death all around them. It tells the story firsthand in a very impressive way, recalling memories of fallen friends, of friends who got injured, of family who got injured. And basically they recalled the life they led underground, because that's where they lived during the siege. So we get to know them one by one, and to know their habits, and to imagine how they lived in a conflictual zone. Imagine how they rehearsed and how they tried to keep on going with their lives. Watching taped versions of Headbangers Ball, which was basically the main TV show at that time. Everybody was watching Vanessa Warwick back then, and as I already told, dealing with the losses and with the heavy life. I will make a very short comparison with what happened in 1989 in my country. So I'm relating very much to what these guys went through, even if on a very lower scale, because in 1989 there was also some kind of war back in Romania, and it was extremely dangerous to live on the streets. There were tanks, there were explosions, there were snipers, there were shootings. There were a lot of deaths. Of course, there was no siege, but the political situation basically was, I told you, on a very lower scale, the same as in 1994 in Sarajevo. So I know exactly how it's like to live on your elbows and on your knees. But apart that, I just cannot imagine how its life lived under heavy shelling and bombing. Coming back to the documentary, the second part of this film is the version of basically of the band and of the organizers. So we get to know Major Martin, the guy who basically got in contact with Bruce and invited him to Sarajevo, a safe passage to Sarajevo. Of course, it didn't happen that way, but if you watch the movie, you'll see how it went. We get to know the guys from Bruce's band, from Skunkworks. So we get to know Chris, the bass player, the one who actually wrote the story several years after. We get to know Sponder, or Alex Elena, the drummer, who was also a passionate photographer and who took a lot of pictures from back then. And we also get to know another character, Trevor, which was a UN official and was in charge of the band's security during the transport in and out of Sarajevo. Of course, Bruce Dickinson comes into the picture, and he recalls the events as he lived them back then. This second part is also extremely interesting because we get to have a lot of humor, British humor, involved with the tragedy and the tragic events which occurred at that time. So I can only remember the lorry and the yellow truck which transported them from Split to Sarajevo. This is really hilarious. The third part of this movie is basically takes place 21 years after the events, so in 2015, when some of the main characters which were involved in this concert get to visit Sarajevo again as a memory reminder, as a memorial to the event itself and to the fallen victims. They get to meet some of the guys that we saw in the first part, which are now adults, and the intensity of this reconnection is very touching and very powerful. I have to admit I was extremely impressed when I watched this rockumentary, this short movie, whatever you like to call it. I cried because this movie is also not only about music but also about hope, about strength, about the eagerness to fight for what it's yours, not to be broken and not to be defeated. Basically all those guys who talk in this movie and all the others who are not featured in this documentary are winners because they have managed to win. They defeated the worst in their lives and now they are free. Of course, being a rockumentary, it has music. You have a lot of footage from the actual concert. The sound quality is not that good because it was taped on the different cameras. Remember, it's 1994, but it's the concert itself is actually quite a very cool document to look at in 2018. To accompany this DVD and Blu-ray, Bruce Dickinson also released the soundtrack on a CD and 2 LP, which is called, of course, Scream for Me Sarajevo. Do not expect a live version of the concert. This CD is basically a best of Bruce's solo career before and after leaving Iron Maiden. So these are the songs which are featured in this rockumentary, and I can say that they are amazing. I haven't paid very big attention to Bruce's solo career. I know a lot of songs, but I didn't listen to all of his albums as I should have. And this album for me is really a very cool collection of heavy metal songs, and not necessarily heavy metal songs, because we have also a lot of ballads and very emotional songs which fit the film perfectly. The booklet is very thick. It contains the story written by the bass player Chris Dale back in 2012. The story which was the foundation of this documentary. It's very interesting. If you watch the movie, they complement each other, so you can basically find out a lot of interesting things both from the movie and from this booklet. To accompany the story, there are a lot of pictures which are also in the movie, but in the movie they are filmed because Alex Salina was also a photographer, as I already told you. I received as a gift Bruce's autobiography, which is called What Does This Button Do? I'm reading this book right now. I'm extremely happy that I got it. I really love this kind of books when great characters tell their lives, and basically they unravel the mysteries, and we really figure out they are actually humans and not gods. Of course, in this book, at some point there is a chapter which relates to that concert, that event in Sarajevo. There are some quite graphic pictures, because I'm not going to show them, but if you watch the movie, you will see them. Overall, I really recommend this movie. I really recommend this, even if you are a Maiden fan or even if you are not. I really recommend it to, especially to non-Iron Maiden fans, because this is not about Iron Maiden. This is about music and how music can really change your life. If you want to, music is absolutely fantastic, and only rock music, only heavy metal music can do that. This is my opinion. Go grab the DVD, go grab the Blu-ray, watch it, and I really hope that you will drop a line in the comments if you saw the movie, and please tell me your reactions. Did you like it, and how did you react to it? Also, if there are some guys who went actually to this concert in 1994 and you see this movie, please drop a line and tell me how does it feel to reconnect with the events now after 24 years. Basically, this is it. I leave you with the soundtrack, and I thank you very much for watching the video. Click subscribe if you want. Drop a line, and see you next time. Cheers.